Why memory aids are failing you. Lately, the use of memory aids during math tests has become pretty common. These formula sheets are supposed to help students remember important information and solve problems more quickly. But I've noticed that instead of improving their performance, many students are finding these aids failing them. The issue isn't with the tools themselves, it's about how they're being used. The misuse of memory aids. The main problem with memory aids is that students often use them like crutches instead of as helpful reminders. This means they end up just knowing where to find the information instead of truly understanding the concepts behind it. During a test, this reliance on memory aids can backfire. If a student doesn't fully understand when and how to apply a formula, simply having it written down won't help. Additionally, trying to use a memory aid during a timed test can be really stressful if the student hasn't practiced using it well. Why proper use of memory aids is crucial. Memory aids are not inherently bad. In fact, they can be incredibly helpful when used correctly. The key is to make sure students are not just passively creating memory aids, but actively engaging with them as a part of their learning process. Let me show you how to use memory aids effectively. 1. Understand before you memorize. I encourage students to focus on understanding the underlying concepts before turning to memory aids. A formula sheet is most effective when students know not just what the formulas are, but also how and why they work. This deep understanding enables them to use the aids as quick references rather than as a primary means of solving problems. 2. Practice using aids during study sessions. Just as students practice solving math problems, they should also practice using their memory aids. This includes familiarizing themselves with the layout of a formula sheet or understanding the functions of their calculator. The goal is to make these tools second nature so that using them during an exam is seamless and stress-free. 3. Organize memory aids for quick reference. A memory aid that's cluttered or disorganized can be more of an obstacle than an asset. Students should organize their aids in a way that makes it easy to find information quickly. This might mean grouping similar formulas together or color coding different sections. It's also important while creating them to write neatly. You don't want to waste time during a test trying to figure out what you wrote in your notes and asking yourself, what does this mean? 4. Limit reliance on aids. It's important for students to know when to use a memory aid and when to rely on their own knowledge. I encourage students to practice solving problems on their own first and using the aid only as a last resort. This approach helps reinforce learning and builds a confidence in their own abilities. 5. Simulate test conditions. Before the actual exam, students should replicate test conditions by timing themselves and using their memory aids as they would during the test. This helps them get used to the pressure of working under time constraints while still making effective use of their aids. Empowering students through proper use of memory aids. When used correctly, memory aids can be powerful tools that enhance a student's ability to recall information and solve problems. The key is to ensure that students are using them effectively. By shifting the focus from simply having the right tools to knowing how to use them properly, we can help students build the skills and confidence they need to succeed in math, not just in their tests, but in their overall understanding of the subject. In the end, the goal of education is not just to pass tests, but to foster a deep, lasting understanding of the material. Memory aids, when used correctly, can support this goal by serving as tools that enhance learning rather than replace it. I hope these steps help students use their aids correctly so they can become more independent, confident, and successful learners.